What's up, 31 fam? How you doing? Punk Rock Dad is back just in time for Valentine's Day, a day that my wife and I don't really care about. I tell her I love her and that she's beautiful every single day. I don't need to be told once a year to tell my wife that stuff, man. Anyways, just in time for Valentine's Day 2021, Scream Factory brought us a steelbook. Look at that pretty thing of My Bloody Valentine. So I'm bringing you a GoreScore review of My Bloody Valentine. So before we start talking about this movie, I try to keep these videos, short and sweet, man. I don't want to 10 minutes or less for these GoreScore reviews. This is a digestible horror movie conversation. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, before I get started, if you like what we do here at Shop 31 and you like horror movies, music, punk rock, ska, reggae, metal, K-pop, whatever, man, like the videos, comment on them to get them put in the algorithms, but most importantly, smash that subscribe button. Don't forget, we go live every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for therapy sessions live. My wife and I sit down and talk with everybody. We want more people involved, so if you have the time to come out and hang out with us on Saturday nights, that'd be very appreciated. If you want to check out our merchandise, our Patreon, which Patreon members, I love you very, very much, or any of that jazz, P.O. Box, you can send us something, all in the description below. That's enough of that. Let's talk about this horror movie, this classic slasher. All right, this classic slasher. If anybody out there doesn't know already, slasher is my favorite genre of horror, subgenre of horror, however you want to say it. Okay, so My Bloody Valentine. Let's just read it off the back of the box. This will give you the best way to think about it. Okay, so on Valentine's Day, someone always loses their heart. 20 years ago, this small town lost more than that when a tragedy claimed the lives of 5 miners. I don't mean miners as in under 21, miners as in coal mining, copper mining, that kind of miner. Now, the town is gearing up for another Valentine's Day, but when a box of candy containing an eerie warning and a blood-soaked heart arrive, the townfolk realize that romance is as good as dead, and so are they. But seriously though, scary. Alright, so basically this is the original 1981 film, okay? That's basically what happens is there was a tragedy back 20 years prior. They hadn't celebrated Valentine's Day for 20 years because of it. They get warned by somebody, don't celebrate Valentine's Day. They decide to celebrate it 20 years later anyways. What happens? People start getting picked off. The town finds out. They shut the town down. The kids are like, no, we still want to party. So they go to the mine, the mine shaft, I believe it's called, where they have like a little, like rec center set up for the people that are working there. We could go party there, and then, it's a slasher movie from that point forward. I enjoy this movie. And I want to tell you what kind of GoreScore it earned, because that's what we do here at the Shop 31. We have our own system of grading these movies. If you're not familiar with the GoreScore, I have a criteria that it has to meet. Not has to meet, but I got a bunch of things that it can do. So we got special effects 1 through 10, story, acting, dialogue, bad guy rating, and the ending. Those are all graded on a scale of 1 to 10. Then we have different little things that it can do to earn points. That creates a GoreScore, and then at the end of that, a really bad movie could get a high GoreScore. So I also have a recommendation on 1 to 10. So let's start talking about it. So special effects, I gave this one 8 out of 10 because it's from 1981 and it still looks pretty good. Some pretty good gore in there. All practical, obviously. The story, I thought it was an 8 out of 10. I thought it was way above average because it could have been way just cornier and bad. I thought it did fairly well. Holds up pretty well. The acting a little less. I gave it a 7 out of 10. The dialogue, again, a 7 out of 10. It could have been a little better, but it definitely could have been a whole lot worse. But the bad guy rating, I gave it a 9 out of 10. And the reason I gave the bad guy rating a 9, because I almost gave it a 2. I almost gave it a completely opposite score. But I think that the bad guy rating's realistic, man. I like the way that in the movie, he looks like a regular guy. It's not Jason Voorhees, who's 6'9". It's not Michael Myers, who's giant. It's not Freddy Krueger, who's in your dreams. No, it's like a regular guy that had something happen to him, and he's mad, and he's coming for you. I like that a lot, man. The ending of the movie was middle of the road. I gave it a 6 out of 10. There was 11 kills in this movie at 5 points apiece. There's 2 severed limbs at 10 points apiece. We got 4 instances where there was a stabbing or a shooting at 5 points apiece, and we got 1 decapitation at 10 points apiece. On each movie, you can get 5 points per decade back that you go for an era score. This one was in 1981. It gets 20 points. So the GoreScore for My Bloody Valentine, 1981 original, all right, is 170 blood-soaked, sweet, candy, chocolate-dipped points. All right. Honestly, I didn't think it was going to get half that. These older movies, it's hard to get a high gore score because they don't have as many kills, they're not as violent. There's a lot going against these movies, all right? But on a recommendation score of 1 to 10, I gave this a straight up 10. The reason being is because I think this is an essential viewing for anybody that's a big fan of horror, especially if you're a fan of the slasher subgenre. So if you really like slasher movies, My Bloody Valentine from 1981, if you haven't seen it, it still holds up pretty well. I don't consider really any of these movies scary per se, but it's a good movie, and I can see how in 1981 it would have scared the pants off some people. But yeah, that's the gore score for My Bloody Valentine 1981 with this special, beautiful steelbook release by Scream Factory. I highly recommend you go check this out. I think you can get this at Best Buy for like 25 bucks. Not a bad deal. It's a Blu-ray disc. It looks really, really... Actually, you know, as a matter of fact, I wrote a couple things down for this movie. One of the things that I wrote down was that the Blu-ray, the transfer was just stunning. Okay, yeah, I put the 4K scan on the Blu-ray. Looks amazing because it is a 4K scan. The only thing about this movie that I didn't like is there's a funny guy in it, and he drove me nuts. All right, and then I wrote down that at the beginning of the movie, there's like a heart tattoo of this chick. It's right at the very beginning, right? And they kill her, right? And she gets impaled, and it looks like they drew the heart tattoo on with a crayon. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, oh wait, to do the effects practically, they had to put fake chest on her, so they probably did draw that on there with something. It could have been like a grease pen or something, I don't know, but I just thought it was funny, something that you could notice when you watch the movie. But anyways, that's all I got to say about that movie. I enjoyed my time with you. I hope you enjoyed your time with me. If you did, please spread the word, share this video on social media platforms of all kinds. I would very much appreciate that. Yeah, that's all I got to say. Thank you for your time. Have a good night. We'll see you again real soon for more movie reviews, album reviews, top 10 lists, and more. Punk Rock Dad, out.